In this video, I'll be showing you how to use Identic AI for SketchUp, which creates a 3D model of an object from using only a single product image. Sounds too good to be true, right? So to find out, I'll be testing this tool with 11 different objects to see how well it works. If you're new here, I'm John Kapler, founder of Focus SketchUp, which is an online training program that teaches interior designers, kitchen designers, and landscape designers how to use SketchUp and V-Ray to create amazing renders in the least amount of time. Check out my links in the description below for more info. This video is a bit longer than normal because this is a thorough test, one that I have not done before, so I have no idea how this is going to go, so we'll find out together. All right, let's dive in. All right, guys, let's dive in here. I've got my SketchUp open behind me, just a blank file, and I'm gonna go through how to install the Identic AI SketchUp extension first. It's very easy, but let's go through this process. So up here, extensions, extension warehouse. Bring this guy over and simply search for Identic. And there it is. All right, so you can click into there to see more about it and just click install. Yes. All right, it's installed. And let's close this out. And now I've got my AI Identic button right here. If you don't, let's go to View, go to Toolbars, and it's this guy right here, AI 3D. You can toggle that off and on and dock it wherever you want. All right, let me click here. It's going to ask you to log in or register, and you can go to the website to see pricing information. So it's identic.ai. This is what the homepage looks like right now. And you can see pricing here. We can just click it just so you see. But you got your creator plan, your basic plan, and your pro plan. And you can, of course, do a free trial as well. So let's kind of go in. I'm going to log in. I've got an account set up right here. And yep, it's Focus SketchUp. And you can also use this to view products in 3D, but we're going to use the SketchUp extension for this because not all these tools have a SketchUp extension. And that's one of the reasons why I love this tool. The other reason is it creates a really accurate 3D model. I've tested it on one product, a chair. It's a demonstration I gave at the 3D SketchUp Summit in Denver back this past summer, and it did an awesome job. It actually beat out the other competitors to Identic as far as accuracy and cost. So we're going to use the SketchUp extension to actually create our models. And first up, I've got this stool right here. So let's go back into, let me just actually copy my password here. If you guys don't use Dashlane, I highly suggest you get it because it organizes all of your passwords securely, and you can access this on your computer as well as on your mobile devices. All right. So back into SketchUp, let's log in here. Paste in that password, and here we go. All right, a little teaser here, what AI can do. You can follow this. So this gives you, I guess, some tips here. Doesn't work well with glass, so that's something to note. And it likes images with white backgrounds. So obviously that's a given, but you just want to have an image as clear as possible with just the object you want to model against a white background if possible. All right. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first up is the stool. So I've got these graphics I downloaded from the product pages, and the stool is right here. And just so you guys are aware, if you need a way to get these graphics easily off of a web page, there is a free Chrome extension. It's up here. It's called Image I, one word. If you click that, this will scan the web page that you're on. It will find all of the images. It will organize them by size and display them here. You can download all of them, or you can just select the ones you want. For example, this one right here. If I wanted that one, I can also hold down Shift and get this one and go up here, click download, and you can download to all different types of formats. For example, JPEG, and just click that. And it's going to put it in your downloads folder. Now, I've done that for all the products that we've gone through today, and I've picked the best product picture that I can find out of all of those. The ones I like to use are the ones that show kind of a corner shot. So for example, this bed right here. Let me bring this over on this screen. I didn't get the picture that showed the very front or the side or the back. I wanted one that kind of showed the side profile, which includes the front and the side, just so AI knows the basic shape of the object. So once you have those downloaded, I've got this one right here. Let's go back into SketchUp and just drag this one in here. Now, one of the limitations right now is that this tool only allows for one image. I hope they change that feature in the future, because other competitors to this allow you to import multiple images of the same product, which I think helps AI know what the back looks like, what the sides look like, and all of that. But as of right now, it's just one image. We have it loaded up here. Let's go ahead and click Generate in 3D. So right now I still have free credits available. I have 8 left, and this is a low speed. So I believe if you purchase a plan, you get a higher speed for creating these models. But in our case, we've got the power of video editing. So I'm going to come back here when this is done, and we'll look at what this looks like. Okay, that took about a minute. Not too bad. And it gives you a little preview here. You can spin your mouse around and kind of view what this looks like. And just from this little thumbnail, I can tell it did a pretty darn good job of modeling this stool. So you can download this if you like to. If it didn't work correctly, you can generate a new one using a different image, or it can import directly into SketchUp, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and click that. All right, move that out of the way. We'll just close this out. And there it is. It dropped it right at the center point. And let's take a closer look. So it's looking pretty good. A little choppiness up here. But again, nothing crazy. Let's just go ahead and see what this will render as using V-Ray. All right, so that's a quick little render. We can zoom in here. So overall, not too bad. Like you can tell there's a little bit of choppiness over here. But again, like unless you need perfection, most people won't see that. I could definitely use this for client work, no problem. I'm very impressed with how this came out. So let's go back to the product page. It looks like I got dimensions on this. Here we go. Height is 35 3/4. So let's check that. Use my tape measure tool here. Go right about there. So this is a little over that amount. This is 3 feet. Looks like, let me get right on it. Where are you? There we go. 3 feet, 2 inches and 9/16. So what I could do is just scale this correctly. So scale tool. Click here to place, and then on my keyboard, 35.75 inches. That makes a big difference. And there we go. Now that's scaled correctly, and I can do the same thing for the width and the height as well. But overall, not bad. Okay, so that's one of them. Let's go on to our next product and see. Now again, I'm not too concerned about the material that it placed on this, because I'm going to probably change that out inside of V-Ray or another rendering extension. But it is nice that they give you something that mimics close to what the graphic has. But again, not really needed, and that's not the focus of this test. I'm mainly just focused on how well does it model the 3D object. All right. Back over here, let's go to our next product. This is the bed. So this is a Arlo upholstered square bed. And I've got the product image already downloaded. So let's go back here and let's open up my folder. There's the bed. I'm going to drag it in. And I'm going to click on Generate in 3D. So we'll let this run and see what it looks like. While that's generating, I just want to pop in here real quick and let you know that I cover 7 different ways to get specific product models into SketchUp as part of my bootcamps. I have 3 self-paced bootcamps, one for interior design, one for kitchen design, and one for landscaping, pools, and patios. So if you're interested in those, check out the links in the description below. All right, so that finished, and we can just kind of scroll around here. And just from the thumbnail, it looks pretty good. So let's import into SketchUp. Okay, close this out. All right, so it drops it right at the center point again. So let's just move this guy out of the way. And there it is. So zooming in, yeah, it looks pretty good. So one thing I would be concerned about, because this object has more than one material. So there's going to be a material for the bed itself, the area down here on the sideboard and the footboard, as well as the leg down here. So notice it doesn't separate that out. So if I were to apply a texture, let's just say, go to my materials. Let's just choose this guy here. If I were to apply it to the object, you can do it. It segments it out a little bit for you. But you can see down here, it doesn't separate the foot. So that could be a little tricky to get correct. But besides that, it's done a pretty good job. And you know, I can just kind of go through here and paint this and then apply a different color for the mattress. So I could probably get by with this. Not perfect, but I could definitely make this work. So let me just undo all this coloring. Okay. So how did it do as far as size goes? Let's see. All right, it's 59.5 wide. Let's check that first. So I'm gonna lock on the right axis, go 59, was it 0.5? So that was the width. So it says 80.5 deep. So let's just draw a line here. So you can just scale this. I'll scale this. Actually, I'll just use the side right here. Since we already have these lines drawn, I can just do it this way. And then let's see what the height is. All right, the height is 40 inches. So let me just click 40, quote, there we go. All right, so now that's scaled correctly. So one thing to note is it didn't actually create a close to accurate scaling of this model. So very fixable, but just something to note. All right, let's move on to our next object. Let's see what it is. All right, an appliance. Let's see how it handles that. This is a little bit different. Lots of nooks and crannies, lots of detail here. So let's see how it handles this guy. And again, I've never done this before, so we are going through this together. All right, we've got our image right here. I got a nice side corner profile view. So let's open up Identic, drop it in there, and generate. All right, that one definitely took a little longer to generate, about a couple minutes, but this is what it came back with. All right, so let's import it. There it is. All right, let's move that over here and zoom in and see what we got here. Okay. All right, let's change this to just shaded so we kind of see the model a little better. Definitely not as clean as I would have liked, especially with the grates up here. And again, it's tough because that picture, I mean, it was from the side. You couldn't really tell what was going on up here. But even up here, it's a little bit choppy. All right, interesting. Let's go back over here. Now, can I isolate these different areas? Let's see. All right, so I can isolate that, but notice it also has this. So the glass for these doors, it looks like will be overwritten if I paint it, which is the case. So that's not great for when I go to the next step of actually applying textures to it. If I just give this a quick little render, let's see what that looks like. All right, not bad. The materials that it brings in, there's some sheen to it. I could definitely get by with this. I would probably be a little concerned about the quality compared to other objects inside the scene, especially if you're going up close for any type of close-up shot. Yeah, up here is a little funky, but again, if you're in a pinch and you just need an appliance done quickly, this is probably a decent option. Scale-wise, I'm sure it's probably not the best. Let's see. All right, product width is 47 7/8. Let's check it. (47 7/8). Okay, so it's not accurate, but not crazy far off. So I can scale that accordingly. And then let's check the product height is 36.5. Product depth is 27.5. And then 36.5, 36.5, quote. Okay. So there we go. Now that's scaled correctly. All right. So far, so good. Let's keep on going. All right. Now we have a mirror. So there's a lot of detail up here in this mirror. I'm curious how it's going to handle it. Let's find out, shall we? All right. Load up this mirror. Okay, here it is. I can already tell up top looks a little funky. But let's bring that in. All right. Here it is. Definitely the scale is off, but let's see by how much. All right, dimensions 64 inches wide by 84 tall. So that's 64 right here. So yeah, way off on the scale. Click that, and then I'm going to click this guy up here. And then do 84 inches. There we go. Just delete this line. All right, so obviously this is probably a little funky when we render it. We can just turn on shading mode, and you can see, I mean, is that a hole? Now it's just something that juts out. So it tried. Down here, a lot of curvature at the bottom. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. I think that's supposed to be straight. Let's see. Yeah, it's supposed to be straight down here. So put some curves on that. Let's see. Can I isolate the mirror? Not really. So there's a border that goes around the mirror, which is metal, and it kind of combined those into one. So this I would have a hard time applying a mirror texture to with that border as well. So not too impressed with this. They said when we first started this, it's not good with glass. So that's something to note, but not very impressed with how this one came out for sure. All right, let's see what's next. All right, next I've got, a light. So this one, it's got these kind of bulbs or orbs that hang down off of strings. I'm really curious to see how it's going to handle this, especially since the image that we have, bring it up here, doesn't have anything about the top plate that goes on the ceiling. So I'm really curious how it's going to handle this. Let's find out. All right, so there it is. Let's go ahead and import. Let's bring it over here and see what we got. There are definitely some funkiness. Look at this. Like this wire doesn't even go all the way to the top. There's a wire here with nothing attached to it. A lot of detachment with these orbs. Also, not sure how deep this is supposed to go. Let's find out in the product description. So this is a 65-inch across, but it's only 23 inches in depth. So let's see what that looks like here. So it's supposed to be 23 inches across there. So let's scale it. 23 inches deep. And what was it, 65 inches this way? All right, so once you scale that correctly, you can see we've got issues with the shape of our orbs here. Not the best. So for this complex lighting, this is probably not a good tool to use. All right, let's check out our next one. All right, there's this little floor lamp right here. It's a nice little shelf attached to it. So let's see what that does. Okay. Oops, let's get Identic up here, and then drag in our image and generate. All right, there it is. Let's go ahead and import. Okay. But zooming in here, a little bit of wobble right there on the shelf. Oops. The zoom's getting crazy here. The lampshade, it did a pretty good job actually of, saying, hey, that's probably a lampshade. It's hollow inside with a light inside because it couldn't see the inside of this lamp. So that's pretty good reasoning. Again, the bottom's a little shaky, but not terrible. Let's see how the scale looks. All right, this is 65 inches high, 12 inches wide. 65 inches and 12 inches wide. So I'm assuming that means the base down here. So what I'll do is I'll do a square 12 by 12. Okay, so that fits pretty nicely in the 12 by 12 square. And now it should be sized correctly. And overall, it doesn't look terrible. Let me delete our little square guy here. And then render that real quick with V-Ray. All right, not bad. I could definitely use this for a design for a client. Okay, and I can isolate this material for the light shade. So that would be helpful. Not sure how this would be isolated. I think, yeah, it does a pretty good job of chopping that up. So I could definitely work with this for textures and materials. All right. Just give that a quick save, and then let's go to our next product. Next one is a kitchen table. It's a round table. This is from our house. It's 54 inches in diameter. So let's go ahead and load that in. And generate. Okay, there we go. Let's bring it in. All right. Here we go. Overall, not bad. I mean, it got the shape down here of the base pretty accurately. Let's see, it was 54 inches in diameter, right? So we can scale this direction, 54, and then in this direction, there we go. And for the height, let's check that out. 30 1/4. Nope. Let's try that again. 30.25 quotes. There we go. All right, there's our table. Let's do a quick little render. Not bad. You can see the edges here look a little choppy. So not the cleanest circle I've seen, but again, if you're in a pinch, you could definitely use that. You could also just delete the top and then just use the base and then just create a circle, use the push-pull tool to create the top of the table. That's definitely an option. All right, let's see what's next. Ooh, a bookshelf. So how's it going to handle this? This is a large object, a lot of detail up here with the handles, the shelves, these lights. Man, this is going to be a challenge for AI. Let's see. I've got 2 credits remaining. So that's noted. All right, bookshelf. I couldn't find a side angle of this one, so it's just a straight on. So let's see how it handles it. Okay, there it is. Let's bring it in. Look at that teeny tiny bookshelf. Oh boy. All right, let's bring it over here. Obviously the scale is way off. The handles, looks like it didn't really capture those at all either. Just very flat. And if we turn on shading mode, you can see that as well. Inside the shelves, it did okay, not great. I would like to see those lines a lot sharper and straighter. The lights up here, obviously that's not great either, but yeah, let's see, let's scale this. This is 120 wide, 84 tall. Okay, and then 20 inches deep. Okay, so now it's scaled correctly. You can see back here, I'm not sure why it did this. Not great. I probably would not use this one in a design. So let's turn back our materials here and let's go ahead and just render it. Yeah. Not great at all. So wouldn't use that one. So bookshelves, Identic AI, probably not the best choice for that. All right, let's see what's next. A sofa. Okay, so this was the Monterey. Let's see, why did that link work? Here it is. The lake view. Let's see if this is still an option. Okay, it looks like they may have changed their product since I last pulled these pictures, which is awesome. But let me just show you what this looks like. This was a 65-inch sofa right here. Very simple. It's got some detail here on the arms and this little line down here along the bottom. Let's see what AI does with this. Okay, let's import it. All right, obviously the scale is definitely way off. Let's see, I think it was it 65 inches? Let's see. So that's 65 inches. Let's go ahead and just scale this guy up. I don't have the exact measurements because that product listing is not active, but this gives you kind of an idea. So it got the arm detail here pretty accurately. I'm not sure. Looks like that's just, oh no, it is. Okay, it's geometry too. I was going to say, is it material or just geometry? If we turn on shading here. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty decent. The cushions look all right. You know, they're connected here, which may look fine. Not sure what's going on down here. There's some funkiness at the bottom. But if that's put on a flat surface, you won't see that. Let's go ahead and turn that back on, and let's just do a quick render. Not bad. I could apply a better material to that, and that would look fine. So that's definitely a good option for a couch. Now, I got one more for you guys, and this will be a wild card. We're going to test the sectional sofa here. It's the Monterey Modula 4-piece sofa. Now, this picture, it's hard to tell because it has this little chaise lounge here on the side, and it kind of is a corner unit. So I'm not sure how well AI can pick this up. So this is a good test. Let's bring up our SketchUp here. Let's see, do I have any more credits? Nope. Got 0 credits left, so I can buy more credits. And it's really cheap. It's just $14 for 100, which is really good. That breaks down to 14 cents per model. So I'm going to buy some here. Very easy process. Okay, and just pay. I got 100 there. Perfect. All right. Let's bring in this guy. Now this picture here, just go back to the product listing. This is the picture I want. Let's see. Let's use our image eye, because this one is a little bit at an angle, more so than the one I just uploaded to Identic. So let's see if we can find this one. If I do save image as, what's oh, here we go. All right, let's try it. I can scroll through here and probably find it. It has a lot of different variations. I think that's the one I grabbed right here. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I could do it there. It's also in my downloads folder. Right here. So let's go back to Identic and see what this did. Okay, that's actually not bad. Let's import this. This little tiny guy over here. It's always funny how small they make these. So it actually did a really good job of noticing that that was a corner. Let's go back to our product listing real quick. So yeah, I'm curious how it would do if we uploaded that better picture of it. So let's do that. Okay, let's just bring this guy in and generate. Well, that's going on. Let's scale the other one. So this one is 170 inches wide by 130 deep. Okay. $170. $130. And then let's see the height. 26 inches high. 26 inches, there we go. All right, there's that guy. And let's bring up this one, which is still going. But overall, really impressed so far with how this handled that. All right, this guy's finished. Let's import. Okay. So the question is, did this one do a better job than the one before? All right, so notice that this new one, the pillow looks a little better here. I'm not sure what's going on with that. There's a pillow that juts out over here. Is that accurate? Let's see. Yep, it has one right there, which kind of juts out. Oh, notice over here, yeah, there's just one pillow on the side. And then one pillow on the side over here. Which kind of combined the pillow and the arm here, which is fine. But I put a pillow right there as well, which looks like there's something coming up there. So not a bad job. AI definitely did better with that version. So getting that corner version where you have as much visible to AI as possible seems to be a key factor in how well this turns out. All right, so I'm gonna just delete this one and then I'll put this one right there. All right, and that is our AI generated furniture lineup right there. So as you saw in this video, Identic AI did a decent job with most of the objects I threw at it. Yes, they had some distortions and noise, but I could easily use them in a client design and they would probably not even notice. There were some that were totally unusable, such as the orb light chandelier and the bookshelf. But the freestanding oven, that one was a bit dicey as well. But the other models like the stool, the floor lamp, the sofa, and the sectionals, they came out pretty good. And if I applied a PBR material to those, they would render just fine. I like that Identic has a SketchUp plugin, which makes it easy to import the generated model right into SketchUp. And the cost per generation was low at about 14 cents. I think there's a lot of room for improvement with the model generation, but overall I'm pretty impressed, and I know that this will save me a ton of money by not having to freelance certain products for my designs. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found value in this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.